Hey guys, I'm Rev the Roadie, and this is Seekers A to Z, where we take a look at all of the heroes from Lightseekers, the card game, starting with, as we have today, Ancient Ignu, all the way through all 100 heroes. So keep coming back, keep posting the things that you're seeing that you like, and the things that you're building with some of the creative heroes. But today, as I said before, we are beginning with our very first hero, who is Ancient Ignu. And we're calling this deck Ground and Pound. As you're going to find, it is a down and dirty deck. The nice thing about this one is that it combos off, and if your opponent realizes what's happening and tries to shut it down, well, you can always revert to sort of a shield up, stay alive, and just keep hitting them for a little bit of time or big chunks. And so having options is really what this deck is all about. For a fun deck, none of our decks that we're looking at are necessarily going to be tier 1 decks all the time. A lot of these are exploring the creative aspects of the game, but this one is a lot of fun, and I think this is one that's going to stay permanently in my case. Always ready to pop out and play for a quick game. So let's take a quick look at our deck list for this one. Our combos were running Rockhide Revenge, Lava Shedding, Crushing Blow, Magma Blast, Rock Fists. And for our action cards, we are looking at 3 copies of Rock Rager, 3 copies of Boulder Feast, 3 Ancient Miners, 2 Mountain Forts, 1 Exterior Defender, an Ambush Worm, 2 Shattered Volcanoes, 2 Dragascorchers, 3 Crystal Bats, 3 Crystal Leeches, 3 Colossi Ritual Sites, 2 Stubborn Evroks, and 2 Stone Scribes. So if we look at our combos, really our 3 primary ones for this deck are Rockhide Revenge, Rock Fists, and Lava Shedding. These are our stay alive combos, and Rockhide and Rock Fists are great because not only are they allowing us to tank up, to soak up some of that damage that we're getting throughout the game, but they also deal some amount of damage themselves, especially something like Rockhide Revenge, where your opponent's either going to want to remove it or they're going to be hesitant to wind up that 8 damage. It's such a heavy shot. And then if things aren't going your way, having Lava Shedding to quickly, for a 2-cost combo, pop off a little bit of burst healing and a little bit of burst damage really helps us stick it out. Our other 2 combos, Crushing Blow and Magma Blast, while great combos themselves, so we don't want to downplay the work that they do in a deck, but Crushing Blow especially, given the number of multi-cross-order heroes that we have and cross-order decks, Crushing Blow, if our opponent does not have an answer for it, that one really comes in handy. There's been a number of times that my opponent sees that I'm running a mountain deck, and automatically they're thinking, how am I going to protect my item so I don't have half of my a portion of that deck go dormant. When we look at our action cards, there's a few combos that we're looking to set up, and in order to set those up, there are a few things that we need in place. First of all, we're running some Mountain Forts. Our Mountain Forts are solid for keeping us alive, keeping us in the fight. Our Ancient Miners are digging. They're hunting for the cards that we need because realistically we're trying to get our hand the way we want it as quickly as possible to be able to pop off those action combinations. And finally, a lot of times depending on what you're facing against, having an Exterior Defender or an Ambush Worm to either use to pay for combos or just to have kind of out there in your field, adding a little bit extra protection, adding just another speed bump to what your opponent is trying to do can be helpful in this deck. So again, the name of the game is staying alive until we can get to these combos. First combo we're going to look at wants to play off the Shattered Volcano and Colossi Ritual Site. It assumes that we're going to play those 2 down in 1 turn, and then in our second turn, when Colossi Ritual Site rotates and activates, we're going to pop off a Crystal Bat and a Rock Rager. And the fun part about this is that Colossi Ritual Site activates for all of the damage we're about to do. So when it's all said and done, what we're doing is we're doing about 20 damage for this. And if your opponent hasn't seen this, many of them may think, I'm safe at 20. I don't need to start healing. I don't, maybe they're throwing up a little bit of damage reduction, but there have been a couple games that I've won simply because they're sitting at 20 or 19 and they feel safe. This combo, especially early game, is fantastic. It's just a lot of fun to play. Basically, the way it works, Crystal Bat gets its increase by Colossi Ritual Site up to 6. Rock Rager gets its increase, but then kicks off Shattered Volcano. It's Shattered Volcano is the one that we typically don't pay attention to, but that little extra 5 damage is just fantastic. Our next combo, again, takes about 2 turns to set up. It assumes that our first turn that we're going to play a Colossi Ritual Site with a Draga Scorcher. When those flip to do 9 damage in 1 turn, then we follow it up with a Stubborn Evrock to lock those in, to wait 1 more turn to do another 9 damage, to pop off that 18 damage. Again, both these combos take time to set up, and your opponent can see them coming, but having a couple different combo options is really handy, especially if you want to try and follow them one after another, because then if your opponent either doesn't have buff removal in hand or chooses not to go after buff removal, you can do this following combo, which combines the 2 of them for some big damage. So it assumes that Shatter Volcano has already been played and is already on the field. So then we play our Colossi Ritual Site and our Draga Scorcher. We follow that up as normal with this turn with the Stubborn Evrock, and our Stubborn Evrock is a bridge for the damage following in the next turn when we pop off our Crystal Bat and our Rock Rager. Again, this is combining the 2 combinations. This is highly unlikely that we're going to get this off, but once in a great while you can make a run for it. Or at the very least, you'll play Colossi Ritual Site and Draga Scorcher, and your opponent will go after it with their buff removal, and depending on how the game's going, they might expend the buff removal they have at that time, which opens us up for that second combo. But all told, when you pull these 2 together, just 38 damage. 38 damage is hard to come back from unless they have some real intense damage reduction and healing going on. But even then, 38 damage is just, you're not coming back from that if you can pull that off. It's a fun combination. Like I said, it's unlikely that we get that one going, but once in a great while it happens, and that's a lot of fun. And everyone sort of stares at it and says, well, what just happened? So this Ancient Ignu deck, if we look at the cost of it, going off the cost of the recording, as of the recording of this video, this is the breakdown of the costs for each of the individual cards, and what this brings us up to is about $53.35, which is really not expensive for a deck, especially if you're coming over from, say, Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or UFS or any number of other card games. $53 is not expensive. That is a good, solid deck, and this is one that, well, maybe we're not going to see this one competing at the top levels in the real tournament scene. As far as store play and localized games, it's a solid build that will do well. It does work. It gets down there, and it really wants to knock your opponent down and then just finish it. But it's a good thing for $53. So, check it out, play around with it, let me know what you think. Try the deck out. If you find a little wrinkle or an addition or a change, post it down in the comments below. What this is all about doing is exploring the creative aspects of Lightseeker deck building. Far too often we can get focused on just those handful of decks that we see at the top tier tournament level, but there's a whole other host of options for us in play. So create some fun decks, look ahead at some of the ones that we're going to be doing, and make sure you like and subscribe so you can follow up on our next videos as we continue to explore all of the heroes in the Lightseeker universe. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.